Good morning. Pastor Jack at your service. Welcome to the March 7th Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg. A UU congregation is a place for all souls, all ages, genders, loves, colors, abilities, struggles, educations, beliefs, questions, hopes. Our congregations are devoted to promoting spiritual growth and caring community, learning from all peoples and all persons and from our own life experiences. So may we learn from this year's Women's History Month and from the questions raised for us by International Women's Day, which is tomorrow. May our time together help us grow. Thanks to Susan, John, James, and Annie for contributions of word, music, production, and spirit. And thanks to all of you for making us a blessed community.
Good morning. I'm Susan Bernor. Jack has asked me to be worship associate for today. We light a chalice as a symbol of our search for truth and meaning, our shared communion, and our light of caring. Let's say our covenant together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. I'm wearing white today because it has often been a symbol for the fight for women's rights around the world, along with purple, which symbolizes dignity, and green for hope. And the pearls are, of course, in solidarity with Vice President Kamala Harris. Each year, a theme and a symbol are chosen for International Women's Day. This year's symbol is the raised hand, which says, "I choose to challenge inequity." The theme is women in leadership. A statement from the United Nations reads, "Women want and deserve an equal future, free from stigma, stereotypes, and violence. A future that is sustainable, peaceful, with equal rights and opportunities for all. To get us there, the world needs women and equity at every table where decisions are being made." The video we're about to see offers hope for that equity and brings to mind a quote from Shirley Chisholm. "If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair."
Good morning. My name is Janae Johnson, and I'm your Religious Education and Communications Coordinator here at Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg, Florida. This morning, I will be sharing our invocation words written by the UU minister, Reverend Penny Hackett Evans. Each of us brings a separate truth here. We bring the truth of our own life, our own story. We don't come as empty vessels, but as full people, each with our own story and our own truth. We seek to add our truths and to add to our stories. This room is rich with truth, rich in experience. All manner of people are here, needy, joyful, frightened, anxious, bored. We all bring our truth with us. May we all recognize the truth and the story in our lives than our own. May we hear and honor the truths that we bring as we gather together. Together we have many truths. Together we have a story. Together we are community. Thank you.
We would be one, as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other, to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice strive to make us free.
Thank you, Janae and John and all. I hope all of you children and families are working things out during this difficult time when we're all at home for long stretches, doing work, doing school, doing family, doing life. The other day, our 7-year-old grandson showed me a painting that he had done for school. It had a dark blue stream with some fish in it in the middle, and it had some brown and green hills and a tree with birds by the stream. He showed it to me, and it was beautiful, and I said that, beautiful, I said to him. He cocked his head looking at his painting, and he said, "It's about life." "Oh," I said, "how so?" "Well," he said, "we have to keep the water and air clean so the fish and the trees can live, and so we can eat and drink and breathe." "True," I said. I wondered where he had learned all of that at 7 years old. He has a wonderful teacher. I often hear her voice over his school computer, so grown up, so smart, so kind. And his mom is a lawyer who runs a university's public policy program on public water systems. And his dad is an engineer. And his 9-year-old sister is the leader of the known world. And his grandmom is an artist. He has lots of places he learns from, and he's very curious. As I wondered about that, he said, "Oh, I have to put in some people having a picnic and playing." And off he went back to his desk in his room. My job, it turns out, is to listen and sometimes ask questions. And I love that job. I love it when people paint pictures or tell stories or sing songs that turn out to be so true and helpful as his painting. How about you? What kind of storytelling do you like? Songs, books, paintings, pictures? Well, that's all a joy for me. Let's all take a moment to remember our joys or concerns that we might have brought with us this morning. If you have a particular joy, personal joy or concern you'd like to share today, please type it in the sidebar, the comment column on your YouTube screen. And of course, you can share during the coffee hour after the service. And we can share for you at this time during the service if you tell me or our worship committee chairs, Susan Bernor or Dave Mapp, what you'd like said. A very special joy for many of us today is that our former music director, Nick Filson, will be ordained today as a UU minister by our congregation and by the congregation in Santa Barbara, California, where he did his internship. And that will happen at 5 o'clock Florida time. If you are a member of this church, an invitation has been sent to you with a Zoom ID code included, and we'll also post that code at the end of this service for you. Or you can watch on the big TV screen in our back picnic area if you make an email reservation with Sarah and Paul Craig via the link in our newsletter. Please be in touch anytime the concerns of life feel a bit too much. I'll be happy to meet with you at the church, on our open air front porch, and keep reaching out to one another. It makes all the difference at any time, especially times like these. And if you would like to learn more about our tradition, if you're relatively new here, I'm happy to chat by phone or meet with you on our front porch at the church. Now, our first reading for the morning.
A reading from sociobiologist E.O. Wilson's The Meaning of Human Existence. By no later than 500,000 years ago, groups of our ancestral species were maintaining campsites. With groups crowded together, social intelligence grew, along with the centers of memory and reasoning. Within such human groups, selfish individuals best altruistic individuals. But groups of altruists best groups of selfish individuals. This conflict might be the only way in the entire universe that human-level intelligence and social organization can evolve. We will find a way eventually, perhaps, to live with our inborn turmoil and, perhaps, find pleasure in viewing it as the primary source of our creativity. And now this morning's anthem.
This is a song by Halimah. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. family, and there is sorrow in my town. There is a panic all across the nation, and there is wailing the whole world round. But I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. May the children see more clearly, and may the elders be more wise. May the winds of change caress us, even though they burn our eyes. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. Give me a mighty yoke to hold my confusion. Give me a desert to hold my fear. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder. Give me an ocean to hold my tears. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. So lift me up to the light of change.
Our second reading is from biologist Ursula Goodenough's The Sacred Depths of Nature. We humans may be the only questioners in the universe, the only ones to understand the astonishing cosmic evolution. Like it or not, we are the dominant species. So let us be the stewards, the caretakers of this planet. Let us figure out how to share the earth with all earthkind, how to revere how things are, to express gratitude for our existence, to work to restore Earth's elegance and grace, to commit ourselves to love and joy and laughter and hope. Fulfilling our potentials for hope, will, purposefulness, competence, and fidelity, we can bring love, caring, and transcendence of all barriers to our home.
My sermon question for today is how goes your search for truth and meaning? I was enraptured when grandson Bayer showed me his painting and said it's about life, and that living means you take care of things so they and you will feel good. I thought of the very first psalm in the Bible. Blessed are those who delight in the law of the being of beings, Jehovah, and ponder that law day and night. They are like trees planted by streams of water, yielding fruit in their season, their leaves never withering, prospering in all they do. For the being of beings embraces the way of the righteous, but not the way of the wayward. And the way of the righteous, according to that same Bible, is to care for the being of all beings and to take care of neighbors as you take care of yourself. The truth of existence, as Bear and the psalmist experienced it, is that if we understand the needs of ourselves and others, other living things, and if we care for them, we will bear fruit in every season of our lives, feeling the fulfillment of our potentials for understanding and caring, for goodness and for happiness. We know, don't we, that there are many false narratives about truth and meaning. So people may get lost or shortchanged in their lives. One ancient false narrative might be the theory of the damnable fall of humankind through the disobedience of Adam and Eve, designed perhaps to explain humankind's life struggles and alienations. Or perhaps it was designed to extract obedience to a ruling class. Another biblical example might be the story of Job, explaining human suffering by theorizing a God who partners with a satanic being to test our faith through torture. The first conspiracy. Or the ruling class theory of the divine right of kings, morphed into the divine right of corporations in America through false superiority narratives of nature's selections. A woman interviewed on NPR this week professed to be inquisitive and questioning, and so believed in what I would call the false conspiracy theories of QAnon, Fox News, and rightist social media. The truths of life and their meaning can be hard to discern, especially if we don't question our own self and our own tribe, from inside and outside. One of this woman's beliefs is that there is a conspiracy to falsely convince the world that Americans landed on the moon back in 1969. That brought me back a favorite memory of a night in 1968 in the vast central Pacific Ocean on my tiny Peace Corps island. As usual, all the people were sitting outside on mats, circled on the grassy center amidst the thatched houses. No light but a full moon, which was plenty. The village chief, a man appointed by the Council of Village Women, perhaps because he was smart, patient, trustworthy, and had lots more free time than they did, the chief turned to me and said, "We have heard America wants to send people to the moon. Can it?" The chief was a famed jokester and provocateur for fun, and everybody laughed. "We have a story," he continued, "a man who mistook the moon for a big breadfruit melon, took his longest harvesting stick up into the breadfruit tree and tried to pluck down the moon. When he couldn't reach it, he climbed higher and higher into the weakest branches until they broke and crashed him to earth. That's what we think happens when you reach for the moon." "Well, I don't know, Chief," I said truly. "But you've seen the jet plane that comes once a week from Guam to our main island. Its engines take people very high, so maybe we can take them to the moon." And everybody laughed again, but now with a little curiosity at the very moonlight itself, and with a little more awe, I felt. And the chief nodded and pointed to a sailing canoe close by on our beach. "Maybe like sailing to Guam, or even Palau. If you prepare your supplies and can navigate, you get there. So maybe we'll get there." I should note that Guam and Palau were 600 and 1,100 miles away, respectively, across open ocean. But the island navigators had made a science of the stars and currents and the winds and the waves, and they could make that voyage dead on. So maybe we could get there. The chief himself mainly trusted scientists because scientists who often came to the islands used tested knowledge, and because scientists mainly follow the same decision-making discipline that the islanders follow in making their decisions. Discussion, until essential consensus is achieved, like Quakers. It seems that sometimes people are fooled about the truth, but often we can just reserve judgment when we're uncertain, because often it doesn't cost anything to wait to see if new truth becomes clear. When we talk about truth and meaning, I take the word truth to stand for our deepest understanding about the nature of existence and of life. Useful, essential, seldom entirely complete understanding, but ever search-worthy. And I take the word meaning to stand for the purpose or goal to which life is a means. Meaning is some end or goal or purpose that is possible to reach and fulfill, often in different dimensions or stages, like from being jarred by chaotic noise to being moved by a singing voice to being swept away by an orchestra of music. I agree with my grandson and with the wisdom traditions about grace, and with the scientists and the minister who provided our readings this morning, that the fundamental truth of life is in the nature of the creative energy of the universe, taking form and empowering every species with diverse sets of potential. I agree that the fundamental meaning of life is in our development of those potentials, and that to do so, we can conspire with science, with spirit, and with life itself. I believe our narratives are ours to live. Blessed and blessing are those who delight in our potential for growing, and all our spirits will prosper in what they do. Amen.
To keep our congregation thriving, let's remember our connections to one another and not forget our offerings to support the means to those connections. As you listen to our brief offering music, please click on the eye in the upper right-hand corner of your screen to make a contribution. You can also donate through the Give Plus app via our webpage under the Giving tab or by sending a check to the church office. Thank you.
Some closing words as we go our chosen ways. May we delight in the truths of being, of life, and of living. May we be nourished by all beings, and may we nurture and harvest the fruit of every season and share it with all. May we be a blessing and be blessed. Hope to see you later in the day or soon.
Thank you, everyone, for coming together this morning. Please stay safe and well through the week. We hope you can join us right after the service for Zoom coffee hour. The meeting information will be on your screen shortly. At the beginning of coffee hour, we'll have a brief time where you'll have the chance, if you like, to give your answer to this morning's sermon question. What has the search for truth and meaning meant for you? Then there will be time for everyone to check in. This afternoon at 4 o'clock, we'll show this service in our church picnic area on a big TV screen. It's a great chance to see one another, if you're comfortable, in person, with masks and socially distanced, of course. Please let Sarah Craig know if you're planning to come. The announcement with her email is in our InfoNet newsletter. And at 5 o'clock today, you can watch the service ordaining our former music director, the soon-to-be Reverend Nick Filson. That Zoom information will also be on your screen soon. Now, as our service ends, with a breath, we pass the flame of our chalice lamp to each other as we say together, "We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of courage. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world."
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the Spirit of God surround you. May the Spirit of God surround you. May the Spirit of God surround you. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the Spirit of God